The number of Japanese people aged 65 years or older has more than quadrupled over the last 40 years and reached 36.27 million in 2022, accounting for 29.1% of the population. This happened as the total population of Japan fell by 820,000 over the previous year. The Japanese labor market was already under pressure to meet demands for workers, with 125 jobs for every 100 job seekers at the end of 2015, as older generations were retiring and younger generations became smaller in quantity. According to the IMF, the impact of aging could drag down Japan's average annual GDP growth by 1 percentage point over the next 3 decades. Japan's case, however, is not an isolated phenomenon, as the global population swells, reaching a new record of 8 billion in late 2022. A significant shift is occurring within this growth. A persistent rise in human longevity, coupled with declining fertility rates, is leading to a rapidly aging population, and this shift is causing a global economic slowdown. Italy, Finland, Portugal, and Greece, for instance, are among the top 5 countries with the highest percentage of adults aged 65 and above, at just under 22%, while according to the UN, the proportion of the global population over 65 is projected to increase from 12% in 2019 to 22% by 2050, reaching a total of 2 billion people. This aging trend is particularly pronounced in developed countries where the median age is already above 40 and the population over 65 is projected to increase from 20% to 32% over the same period. Hello everyone and welcome back to Mayar Media. Today we're going to talk about why an aging population, especially in developed countries, is causing a global economic slowdown. Let's dive in. An aging population has a number of significant implications for the global economy, as older people tend to consume less and save more than younger people. They also affect the labor force and impact government finances, leading to an overall decrease in economic growth. Let's examine each one of these factors in turn. One of the most significant impacts of an aging population is on the labor force. As people age, they tend to retire, which means that fewer workers are available to support the economy. This can lead to labor shortages, a decline in productivity, and slower economic output. In Japan, for example, the labor force has been shrinking since 1995 due to an aging population, leading to a decline in economic growth and an increase in government debt, while in the EU, the working age population aged 15 to 64 made up 6.7% of the total population in 1970, but by 2020, this proportion had fallen to 62%. One of the most significant impacts of an aging population is a decline in the overall level of consumption. This is because older people tend to have lower incomes and spend less money than younger people. A study by the European Commission, for instance, found that the average household expenditure of people aged 65 and above in the EU was 20% lower than that of people aged 25 to 34, while in the United States, the share of the population aged 65 and older is projected to increase from 15% in 2010 to 25% by 2050, leading to a decline in consumer spending of $1.5 trillion per year by 2050. Older people also tend to spend differently. They tend to spend more money on healthcare, housing, and leisure activities, while younger people tend to spend more money on education, transport, and consumer goods. According to a study by the OECD, the share of household spending on healthcare in the EU increased from 10% in 1995 to 12% in 2015. An aging population also has a number of negative economic impacts, including increased healthcare costs and government debt. As people age, they tend to require more medical care, which can be expensive. In developed countries, healthcare costs are already a significant burden on the economy, and an aging population will only exacerbate this problem. In the United States, for instance, healthcare spending is projected to increase from 17% of GDP in 2015 to 25% by 2040 due to an aging population. In addition to healthcare costs, an aging population also puts a strain on government finances through increased social security and pension payments, as a larger percentage of people are retired and therefore receiving these benefits. This can lead to a decrease in the number of workers who are paying into these programs, which can make it difficult for governments to meet their obligations. In Japan, for instance, government debt has increased significantly due to an aging population, leading to concerns about the sustainability of government finances and the potential for a fiscal crisis. The impact of aging on economic growth is a complex issue that has been studied by economists for many years. There is no consensus on the precise magnitude of the impact, but most studies suggest that it is significant and can now be seen in several countries. I've already given the example of Japan and Europe. Here, economic growth has been slow due to an aging population and low birth rates. The United States has been less affected due to higher birth rates and immigration, but still faces challenges in supporting an aging population. Multiple studies have attempted to estimate the overall impact of an aging population on global economic growth. One study by the OECD found that an aging population could reduce economic growth by 0.5% to 1% per year in developed countries, while another study by the IMF estimated that it could reduce global economic growth by 0.2% to 0.3% per year by 2050, and this impact would be especially pronounced in countries with high levels of public debt. In conclusion, an aging population is having a significant impact on the global economy. Developed countries are experiencing a rapid increase in the proportion of elderly citizens, which is causing economic growth to slow down. The impact of an aging population can be seen in declining consumer spending, labor shortages, rising healthcare costs, and increasing government debt. To address these challenges, governments can encourage immigration, promote longer working lives, and invest in healthcare technology. But failure to address these challenges could lead to a decline in economic growth and a fiscal crisis. Despite the challenges associated with an aging population, however, the narrative is not solely one of decline. Aging populations also present opportunities, and according to the WHO, additional years of life can offer the chance for individuals to pursue new activities, further education, and even embark on new careers. By fostering a culture of lifelong learning and promoting the participation of older people in various social roles, we may be able to mitigate some of the economic impacts of an aging population.